So the next word is obstinate. This is the new word and quite a difficult one. Most of the people get confused when it comes in exams. What is obstinate? It is an adjective. Sometimes you meet people who are very, very stubborn. Stubborn means they don't listen, they don't understand, and they are rude and unapologetic in their behavior. For instance, there are many people in the world who litter and throw their daily garbage outside on the streets or staircase of the apartments, right in front of someone else's door. Even as a tourist, they throw litter here and there at public places. So you can call these people as obstinate people. Or second, I can give you an example of people who are addicted to alcohols or drugs. So drug addicts happen to be obstinate. In short, stubbornly refusing to change one's opinion or chosen course of action, despite attempts to persuade one to do so. So obstinate can also be positive in the meaning. We saw some examples of obstinate in the negative sense. So obstinate can also be positive in meaning. For example, Nisha has an obstinate determination to become a zookeeper. So she is determined and she is stubborn and obstinate that she'll become a zookeeper or whatever one has chosen for their career or for their life. So obstinate can also be positive in meaning. Now let's look at the options to find a similar meaning word to obstinate. So let's get started. A is foolish, a very, very common word. So foolish is also an adjective which means lacking good sense or judgment, or someone who is unwise. For example, Rohan's puppy was foolish enough to jump into the muddy pond. So foolish is nowhere connected to obstinate. Both of these words have different meanings. So option number A, foolish, can't be the right answer. Next we have unyielding. Here we can see there is a prefix un which is similar to ir prefix and it means not or opposite of. So yielding is an adjective. So firstly it means that giving away under pressure, not hard or rigid. So some substances or objects, they are rigid. For example, I accidentally purchased a yielding mattress from an online website and I cannot sleep on a hard surface. So it was a bad purchase. Second meaning is in reference to a person who complies with the requests or desires of others. For example, Kelly is a kind and yielding person. We saw the meaning of yielding. Now make it opposite. That would be the meaning of unyielding. So unyielding is someone who is resolute, or in reference to a person or their behavior, someone who is unlikely to be swayed, that is resolute. For example, Aaron is a true believer of aliens. So he has an unyielding belief. So looking at the option number B, unyielding, it seems closer to the question obstinate. So let's mark it green. But also let's explore options C and D to be sure and certain before deciding the right answer. Right? So option number C, unreasonable. So again, it is having a prefix un, which is similar to ir, that is not opposite, not or opposite of. So first, let's find out the meaning of reasonable. So reasonable is also an adjective, which means having a sound judgment. What is judgment? That is fair and sensible. So a person who is reasonable would be fair and sensible. He must be having a good judgment. What is judgment? That is ability to make decisions or to come to a sensible conclusions. So judgment is a noun. So we know the meaning of reasonable. Now unreasonable would be the opposite of reasonable. So who would be unreasonable? Someone who is not guided by or based on good sense. All right. So if a person is unreasonable, his or her behavior is unfair or foolish or irrational, that is not guided by logic or common sense. I can give you an everyday example. For example, during a traffic light or traffic signal, or in North American English, you say stop light. People who honk their vehicle's horn are very unreasonable. So option number C, unreasonable, is not the core meaning or closer to meaning of obstinate. So this is not the right answer. Option number D is mischievous. It is also an adjective. First meaning would be especially in reference to children. So someone who shows or causes trouble in a naughty or a playful way, that child or that person is called as mischievous. The first is naughty behavior. Second, in general, can be in reference to an action that is causing or intended to cause harm or trouble. So mischievous is not related or closer to meaning in the stubbornness or inflexibility of obstinate. Now, mischievous people or mischievous child is stubborn. They show stubborn behavior. But mischievous is more related to behavior, that is, the behavior is very short term. But on the other hand, obstinate is more kind of a determination. It is related more to determination. So most appropriate answer to obstinate is unyielding here in this question. All right. Next, question number 3 is impetus. So by looking and reading impetus, one word which comes immediately to my mind is fetus. Both impetus and fetus, both are different entirely. They look similar because they both share a similar letter sequence at the end and rhyme too, that is E, T, U and S. So be very careful in exams. Always read the question 2 to 3 times, pause and move forward, because if you answer hastily or hurriedly, then the chances are your answer can go wrong. So impetus is not related anywhere to fetus. All right. Impetus is a noun which means the force or energy with which a body moves. For example, my new car has a good impetus. Or understand it in a way, imagine a kid has a toy or a bus. He or she is playing on the floor with the toys. So this child gives a push to the toy bus and it zooms forward. So this push is impetus, which starts the motion of the toy bus or the toy car or any toy which has wheels. Or everyday example, or in a bullock cart or a horse cart, the carriage driver taps on the animal with a stick and the animal moves forward and consequently the cart moves along with it. So that push is the impetus. So in physics it is closely related to momentum, which is the product of an object's mass and velocity. So let's look at the first option, financial support. So impetus has nothing to do with finance or money, so not the right answer, because impetus is not related to any economic help or finance or money. All right. Next is accelerated growth. Now, in physics, acceleration means a vehicle's capacity to gain speed. For example, a cycle or bicycle has low acceleration as compared to a motorbike. In English, accelerated growth refers to development or expansion of something. At a faster rate than before. So in English, that is something is growing or developing or increasing at good speed. So that is the meaning of accelerated growth in English. Okay. In English. For example, a company or a brand is growing, gaining fame, success rapidly, such as in recent years we have seen cosmetics or e-commerce or organic products, etc., achieving an accelerated growth. So accelerated growth is not in closest meaning or related to impetus, although impetus may lead to growth, but impetus is more of a push, a motivating force in itself, while acceleration is more focused on the result or outcome. So in English, impetus is broader term and accelerated growth is a narrow phrase. Next option. So accelerated growth is not the right answer. Next is retarded growth. So again, a very popular term in physics. See, that's why English language is very important and always has a dedicated section in most of every competitive exam, because science, maths, and every subject, every field is described in a language, and English is a global language. You excel in English vocabulary, you will gain ease in science, maths, engineering, robotics, aeronautics as well, because with language you develop understanding of words, you can explain, and that is how you work. So we saw physics terms, impetus, acceleration, and now we have retardation. So what is retardation? It is the opposite of acceleration. So in acceleration, you move forward or gain speed, you increase the speed with time. For example, simple walking has some acceleration, but in retardation, which is the opposite of acceleration, there is decrease in an object's velocity over time. It is a negative acceleration, also known by the name deceleration. For example, you are driving any vehicle and you apply brakes to stop at a red light or a spotlight or traffic light, or you have reached your destination. So the brakes slow the speed of your car or your vehicle, and eventually the motion or the movement of the vehicle stops. Now in English language, retard is a verb which means delay or to hold back in terms of progress or development. For example, Lily fell down while running in the playground. She hurt her knee, so the doctor gave her a medicine to retard her pain. So what is retarded growth? Now it will be easier for you to understand. Retarded growth is that the growth or development which is decreasing. It is the opposite of accelerated growth, option B. For example, Gary's popcorn business is experiencing or it is seeing a retarded growth, meaning Gary's popcorn business is not doing well, he's having so much of loss, he's having less income, less customers, etc. While accelerated growth is positive, retarded growth is negative in meaning, right? So retarded growth is not the right answer again. Now next option number D is driving force. So what is driving? Driving is an adjective. Firstly, it can mean of rain or slow, that is blown by the wind with great force. For example, driving rain or driving snow. Another meaning of driving is having a strong and controlling influence. For example, Nisha's family is the driving force behind her success. So driving force is a kind of motivation or a push, and it aligns with the meaning of impetus. So driving force is the right answer. Impetus is something that makes process or activity happen more quickly. For instance, Bella's birthday party in the evening provided impetus for her to finish her homework quickly. So it is like a motivation, a push. So both impetus and driving force are similar in meaning, and that is the right answer.